Hello, this is Alex Eames from Raspberry.tv.
Hello, look what I have. Early samples of production PiJuice board and solar panels, and also a big box with the 40-watt solar panel in as well. So what is PiJuice? Well, PiJuice was a Kickstarter that started at the birthday bash in February 2015. PiJuice was originally scheduled to be delivered by the end of June 2015, but it did a great deal better than expected, bringing in about £124,000 worth of funds to over 2,400 backers. So when a project does that well, it's always going to take longer than expected, unless you have a really good way of scaling up rapidly. So why so late? We're over 2 years after the original scheduled deadline. What went wrong? Well, I've got 3 B's to explain it. Firstly, blockbuster. Whenever a project does massively well, it always takes longer to scale up and deliver. That's just the way it is. I always mention in my Kickstarter pitches in the text that if the project does really well, it will take longer to deliver. That's just the way it is. It takes longer to ship more stuff. Obvious. But there's another flip side of blockbuster. When a project does really well, the amount of money brought in does funny things to people's heads sometimes. And if you don't have really close alignment of values with the people who you're partnered with, then once you start getting large sums of money, it can be a cause of problems as to how to deal with things, how to spend that money, and what's the right thing to do. It just messes with people's heads. You know, it's like in the cartoons when someone sees dollar signs and it lights up in their eyes. It just happens. I've seen it happen on several projects. And in PiJuice, unfortunately, the original partners didn't see eye to eye and it didn't work out. So there was a considerable delay caused by sorting out the bust up. And eventually it was settled, but obviously nobody's allowed to talk about it because that's part of the agreement. And I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but that a sum of money changed hands, and PiJuice is now exclusively owned by Pi Supply. So I'm not saying any more about that, but I know from personal experience that when you have a Kickstarter project with somebody you don't know very well, things can go wrong if your values don't overlap well enough. So that's blockbuster and bust up. The third B is busy. Pi Supply had several Kickstarter projects running at once, and when you've got lots on, you have to drop one of the balls. And in parallel with a bust up, PiJuice happened to be the one that needed to be dropped while the others got done. That's just the way it was. A few months into the project, people started asking questions. Where's my product? How's it going? And unfortunately, because of the way the bust up was going, it was very difficult for Pi Supply to be able to be forthcoming with information. Now, you could argue that they mishandled some of the communications, and they probably did, but at the same time there are situations where you can't say anything until the situation is resolved, particularly when there's legal disputes involved. So it was a very difficult and unfortunate time for them. But there was a forum post on the Raspberry Pi forums a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago to the date actually, where someone was asking if this would happen, and I actually answered it saying, I know Aaron, and I'm pretty sure that this will be delivered eventually. So here we are 2 years later, and it looks like it's going to happen. Pi Supply has chosen Mbest, which is a Farnell company in China who deals with manufacturing. So they've been doing the manufacturing, and that in itself has caused some delays as well. There were also some technical problems with the original design that needed to be resolved. So bringing all of those things together explains why there has been a considerable delay. But that's the past. Now the future. I'm going to open up the boxes and we'll see what's inside, and see what they've sent me.
Okay, first up we've got the PiJuice itself, which is a hat. It should in here there should be a hat with a lithium battery and some various charge circuitry as well. So there's the anti-static bag. Look at that packaging. Really nice packaging. What else are the ever-present Pi Supply sticker set? Some hardware. That looks like a pogo pin and 4 little bolts. Ah, here we go. Here's the actual PiJuice itself. It feels quite chunky, quite heavy. That must be the battery pack. This is a standard Motorola mobile phone battery, but it's quite a thick one. So on the top side of the board we've got some physical supports to hold the battery in place, the battery connector, some screw terminals, a female header, and on the other side it looks like we've got a few little buttons and a couple of LEDs, and of course your stacking header so that you can put another add-on board or hat on top, and of course your Motorola BP7X lithium-ion battery. Let's have a closer look at the back of the board. So here you've got a micro USB, which is for power source, some kind of dip switch here which enables you to adjust the configuration, a pin header, I'm not sure what that is, but it could well be some sort of power circuit. That's your hat EEPROM. That's most likely the microprocessor that's running the show, and the rest of it looks to be a usual mix of capacitors, resistors and components to support the rest of the circuit. According to the little booklet that comes with it, there's an integrated real-time clock. It's also a full uninterrupted power supply, so some of that circuitry must have been the real-time clock. Probably one of the smaller chips was the real-time clock. Okay, so what's in this box is a fairly big clue on the front, I think. A 6-watt solar panel by the looks of it. Let's open it up and see. So that doesn't look like a solar panel because it's in some kind of a cover. Magnetic closure. I think I'm going to have to broaden out the view so that you can see that. So that packing was in between those two. Magnetic closure here. And what's on the other side? Ooh! Okay, we've got some instructions. Do not eat the silica gel. And just a little leaflet. This pocket contains a USB cable and this is actually attached. So that's to connect it to your Pi or whatever other micro USB device you want to power. You could perhaps use it to charge your phone. I don't know, we'll have to look at the instructions to see. That's connected to the back of the solar panel itself. So this is a fold-out solar panel. Basically you've got 2 panels, and what did I say it is? 6 watts, which if the sun's shining in the UK, that should be plenty for you to be able to power a Raspberry Pi. But the sun never shines here, which is why you need a battery backup. Rather a nice case though, don't you think? Well, I look forward to having a try of that. And last of all, we've got this big box, which I've cheated. I've already opened this and I know what's inside. It's another solar panel, but it's a bigger one. It's a 40 watt, and I really like the look of this. And I'm sad that I've only been lent this because I would happily keep it. This is too big to unfold in this shot, so I'm going to have to move the camera. Okay, hopefully I can get most of it in shot this way. Look at this, it's enormous. And that's because you've got 6 of these panels. If only I had a ruler to give this some scale. That is one of my G-Power Zero rulers, which is 30 centimeters long. So you can see these solar panels are about 15 centimeters wide each and about 28 centimeters long. So you've got a decent area for solar, and because it folds you can put it in a rucksack or something and have a truly portable application. I love it, I want it, and I'm sorry Aaron, but you're not having it back. He is really, I agreed, so it's got to go back. So these are the items I've been sent to play with for a few days and evaluate. I've got the PiJuice battery board itself, I've got the PiJuice 6-watt folding solar panel with its carry case, and I've got this massive 40-watt folding solar panel, which is huge. So I'm going to give those a shot over the next few days and see how I get on with them. This was Alex Eames for Raspberry.tv. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe.